Strigoi, Zach 2.0, Zach 2, Strigoi 2.0, Zach 2.0, Zach Strigoi, Zach 2.0, Zach Strigoi 2.0.
Welcome to Got Your Milk! FX is the Strayed Podcast. My name is Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM, at Fit and Trim on Twitter. And with me, as always,
still here,
is someone who sleeps with a snake. It's
always.
Mork. Mork, well, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. And if you like, you can find me on Twitter at Extraordinary. That's extraordinary with a W in front of the final R.
Tonight we're going to be going over Season 4, Episode 5. We're halfway through the final season. 5 more weeks, only 5 more weeks, Mork.
Yeah.
Of the strain. In this episode is entitled Belly of the Beast.
Belly of the Beast, because we're not the farmers. We're the livestock.
What?
Yep. Breaking news, people.
How does that shock F? That is, he's easily shocked, or he hadn't seen seasons 1 through 3.5.
Right. I mean, I don't really know where to start, but why don't we start with just an overall ranking, Bubba?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this episode? What would you give it?
We just mocked the end of this episode. Where
a little bit.
Where F's like, wait a minute. We're not the farmers. We're the livestock.
Right.
Oh, my God. Passive-aggressive F is more like not paying attention F. So that part drove me crazy. And if I focused on how the episode ended, I would have a tough ranking.
Right.
Many weeks of the Got Your Milk podcast, we talk about a guy you were wisely characterized as poor man's Christoph Waltz in like our very first episode ever of Eichhorst. And we said they need to use him more.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
And he is great, and they use him great.
When they use him.
When they use him, this show is really good. The Fett stealing a nuke story, I thought was okay. It was a bit of a caper like we like. The flashback, I'm not so sold on. We're going to debate what it's referencing, what it's trying to teach us. This is a very long way of saying that I'm going to give this episode 8 double S's out of 10.
Oh, double S's, you say?
Double S is a term I use a lot. It's for sautéed Strigoi.
Oh, man.
Eichhorst is great, and seeing him get sautéed, seeing him get flambéed, what a powerful moment. I should feel probably, I guess the thinking part of my brain is thinking, how many times are they going to get caught by Eichhorst and then get away? Why isn't Eichhorst just turning them? It's the simplest solution for him, but he's on screen, they get away, he gets punished, he's lost limbs.
He's lost limbs.
8 out of 10 for me.
This guy has been through the ringer. I mean, a typical Eichhorst confrontation is, unless we're in his, love nest from, I think, season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Unless we're there, a typical Eichhorst meeting with our gang ends with them escaping somehow and him being basically almost killed. And I only say almost because I saw the next on afterwards, so I know he's back. So,
well, they can't get rid of him. He's the best thing on the show.
They've set him on fire. They've chopped off his arm. I don't understand it. This guy, he just keeps on taking it, and I'm glad.
You're glad.
He does do a great job. I'm going to be a little tougher on it.
All right.
Than you were. I think you treated this episode much like F and Alex treated our friend at the you didn't release the episode. I'm going to go a little harder. I'm going to give it 6 double Fs.
Double Fs?
That's right. Floundering Fs.
Poor F.
Poor F. I mean,
he had a chance for love.
He had 2 chances. I mean, and
he did.
This is kind of. I mean, well, there's a lot to talk about. Where do we want to start? Do we want to talk? Should we hang out in Philadelphia follow that through, or the outskirts of Philadelphia in New Horizons? Should we go to?
I think we should, because I think that's the weakest of the three stories.
All right, let's get that out of the way.
Now, before we jump into this episode 5, Belly of the Beast. Before we get into the Belly of the Beast, I want to remind you, wonderful double L's.
Double L's.
That's what we like to call you, our loyal listeners, the people who download and talk to us about the strain.
Sometimes known as double S's.
Double S's.
Suffering subscribers.
Because we're so silly. We're giving away a really special, exclusive The Strain for Your Consideration DVD. It's of Season 3, but the case in it is awesome. If you're a fan of The Strain, this is you won't be able to find this anywhere else. It's just a gift to you. All you have to do is go to iTunes, give us a written review. Mm-hmm. We're going to put your name in a bowl. You're eligible to win. Shout out to our good friends at Geek Girl Soup, who also tend to talk about The Strain on their wonderful podcast, Geek Girl Soup Podcast. And let's get there. Eph and Alex, who is really growing on me. In 5 episodes, she feels like she's always been a part of the gang. I really like her.
Yeah.
She is a good foil, I would almost say, for Eph. They're on there.
She doesn't take any of his crap.
No. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So they're on their way to find out about New Horizons. Car runs out of gas. Eph finds a cell phone, which leads them to a house. And I was tense. I wondered why they were walking down the middle of this town without weapons or guns out.
Right.
This is a Strigoi country. This is a Strigoi universe they're in. I would always be afraid. As they're looking through this house, I kept going, oh no, oh no, oh no. That proves to me that I care about these characters as opposed to characters I wouldn't care about. I'd be like, yeah, look in this empty house.
Keep going.
Don't pull your gun out.
Yeah, make more noise.
But then it ends on a real twist. Eph, who has had
careless relations, let's call it.
Thank you.
Let's call it that.
Yes, careless, physical, intimate relationships with so many of our heroes.
Mm-hmm. And non-heroes.
Right. Alex is looking great. She looks lovely, but Eph refrains. Do you want to have a talk about why you think Eph refrains from releasing his love?
Well, Bubba, when a boy reaches a certain age,
it's about time we had this talk.
It's about time. It's about time. We're 3.5 seasons into the strain, and finally we're going to learn a little bit about the Strigoi and the Strabones. So no, it's a little weird because F is, drunk, yes. Womanizer,
trying to recover drunk.
Right, trying to recover drunk.
A womanizer without question.
Well, I feel like his, I don't really think he's a womanizer as much as just a man who seizes opportunities. And I would say, I was actually saying, Alex is looking pretty good. Like, but when we first met her, she was really in, sort of, she had her fatigues on and she was in like revolutionary mode. And now she's kind of more like outdoorsy. There's like Ralph Lauren catalog Alex.
I'm saying she looks great. And I'm saying F.
Like snowshoeing or maybe some cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
Just a relaxing day in the countryside.
So why don't you, if you're F, you're going to end up lying down in a bed next to her looking at stars.
Well, one thing that
this is romantic.
It's beautiful, and she's lovely, and
right.
He's looking good. But the real thing is, and I actually think that they could have talked about it, and this could have been more part of the show. So at this point, we've seen the factory. We learn a little bit about. We don't learn everything about what the babies are for. We learn a bit more tonight, but
yeah, we do.
Not really.
No.
And this is definitely a world where I definitely would not want to bring a child into this world. So, especially
the only people who want to bring children into the world are the Strigoi. They need blood, baby.
And especially if you met F's last kid, you wouldn't want to bring another one into the world.
You'd have your tube ties.
Yes. So I think that that's a really reasonable thing, and it doesn't seem to come up ever. A sexy fet in the trailer with Charlotte. So anyway, I don't blame F for not for staying on task here. But it's a story point that they haven't really gotten into, I think, as much as they could have.
Help me out, and listeners, help me out. I'm a host of a Strained podcast.
The grown-up boy becomes a man and turns on Led Zeppelin.
What I'm saying...
After a couple of bottles of Mickey's. Go ahead, sorry.
You know what? You always leave out the Mickeys. Why do you think I failed so often? But no, what I was going to say, Mork,
yes, Bubba,
is that here I am hosting a podcast about the strain. Mm-hmm. I've been in the game all these seasons long.
Hell yeah.
But I may not have full recollection of last season. Did Eph and Dutch, when they seemed to pair up, did they do it? They got busy in like a shower or something, right?
They got busy. Yeah, they definitely got busy. Not in the bread truck, but they got busy.
So times were tough last year, and he got busy with Dutch. Mm-hmm. Times are tough this year. Zach is still a disaster for him. He was a disaster last year. He's a disaster this year.
And he hasn't even learned how to drive yet. Can you imagine what that kid's going to be like on the road?
Well, all wildlife like tigers should run. But I'm saying Eph doesn't get busy.
Right.
This woman who escaped from New Horizons comes in, but she has been turned.
Right.
The show has a fluid, maybe lax. I'm trying to think of the right adjective to describe the time frame which it takes a person to get turned. Right. Some people turn in one episode.
Yeah.
When the show started, characters took several weeks to turn. Mm-hmm. I am of the opinion that if you see somebody who's about to go, end it.
Yeah.
Like, enough is enough. And this idea that, we need her to lead us back to New Horizons, this town is empty. Yeah, there's nobody here. You'll be able to find it if it's around here somewhere.
Right. It's a small town, too. It's not like they're in Philadelphia. It's a tiny little town. Well, we don't know exactly when she got bit. We don't know exactly. So, it's a little goofy.
This is my opinion. You get bit, you get lit. I'm lighting her up with my shotguns.
It's definitely they don't take care of business, but maybe just like he's a little gun shy. He's a little gun shy like he was in the bedroom. Now he's a little gun shy downstairs in the parlor.
I like this. I like this. I'm not sure it makes too much sense, but I like that idea that you're trying to come up with a reason why you just don't cap them.
Right.
You tried to cure them. You're the Dr. F. You didn't cure them. You're going to give her a couple more hours, but these couple more hours you're giving her of her life, you're kind of wasting by having her show you New Horizons where she definitely doesn't want to go back to.
Just draw a map or point it out.
Right.
We don't need to go all the way back. But we know what happens. Maybe F doesn't know because there's a couple things that are going on.
Right. That's a good call.
F seems to be slow to pick up on a couple of things. First, Alex's charms. Second, not being the farmers here. But they know what's gonna happen to our new friend, and I didn't catch her name. She seems like a very nice lady.
Yeah, she does. If you're Alex here, Alex is the one who says this is her choice. While she has a few hours left of personal choice, let her be.
Right.
But I hate to say the idea that came to my own head felt like a smarter plan than anything F came up with. Shock upon shock. Is you tell this poor woman, yes, it's turn around, go. You don't have to come here. And then when she turns around, shoot her in the back of the head. Right. She's dead. You don't have this problem anymore. Now, despite me trying to use logic on the strain, always a bit of trouble. The final moment it gets to, while F is sabotaging himself, he's revealing to the master where he lives, all these problems I have with it. I do love this personal beef. I love that the master has a beef with Dr. Goodweather. Yeah. I love that the master wants to talk trash through his victims.
Right.
And so I don't know why the master isn't sending all his forces. Okay, we know exactly where Dr. Goodweather is. You're all in New Horizons. Come out and get him.
Yeah.
But I love this trash talking. I love this BS about Zach.
Well, and it's almost like, the master, we're not 100% clear on what the goal is for for the master, for Eichhorst. We've got baby factories, we got blood processing factories, we've got livestock, gigantic livestock pens.
Yeah.
Eph at this point is not really a threat, and if you're the master, I would just kind of enjoy taunting him a little bit. I mean, you can, if you really wanted to kill Eph, if you're the master, you really want to kill Eph, you can do it. And
you certainly have enough people who would have seen him. That I agree with that. I mean, how many?
And he's seen how many
millions,
Strigoi since he's been on the run. So I mean, and he's killed a bunch of them too. So you would know. But so they have a little bit of trash talk. He pulls the trigger. He does hear that Zach is alive and that Zach is making progress. Killing tigers, scaring the maid, all sorts of, he's covering the basics.
You would be so proud of him.
Yeah.
He's let his hair go long, and he's listening to that rock and roll music.
And roll. Seriously, though, do you think the master is going to force Eichhorst to teach Zach 2.0 to drive? I mean, the Eichhorst, first out, he's probably used to driving on the Autobahn.
Eichhorst is going to need extra makeup after what happened to him today.
Probably. But Eichhorst has free will. He can slap on as much makeup as he wants. So here's a question I got for you, Bubba.
Yeah.
So New Horizons. So we knew there was We
knew there were horizons.
We knew they were. We knew they were new. But we sort of suspected that people are being sent somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
What is the point of sending people out into the middle of the friggin' boonies when you have a blood plant, you have Strigoi, you can just take people whenever you want? I mean, why send them away to treat them like livestock when they're basically livestock wherever they are? I don't understand that.
Mork, I'm going to say I love you like a brother.
Yes, Bubba,
and so like a brother, I want to tell you, don't make the same mistake I did. Stop approaching this trade with logic.
Okay.
I'm saying that, let me try to explain it with logic.
All right.
We kept saying, why are you killing these humans? They keep creating blood. Yeah. Here, we even in this episode, which we'll get to in a bit, had a doctor saying, we're trying to expand somebody's life so they can keep giving blood for longer.
Yeah, sure.
Yet, the factory in New York, the one Dutch saw, it was pretty much, you're dead, blood now, me hungry, Strigoi.
Right.
And so...
It's like fast food, baby.
Right. Maybe it's I don't even know. I'm
all right.
Lost.
Well,
I'm lost.
Should we join Rob Zombie's North Dakota tour?
That was a great line. That
was a great line.
And this, listeners, I'm going to try to point out all the times that the jump scares got me. Those were all based around the Eichhorst Setrakian storyline.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to jump kind of to the very end of this storyline, and when I see two Strigoi fighting on top of an 18-wheeler as it's going down the road, I out loud said, hell yeah, that is why.
Yeah, that is definitely...
This is what I'm here for. Let's roll.
That is part of the romp. Yeah, let's see more of that. Let's see more Strigoi. And it was kind of... it was a pretty quick fight.
Yeah.
And there were more Strigoi around, and, the guys weren't much of a threat.
A quick fight, sorry to interrupt you, which I think had a nice, quick ending. We saw the human people who weren't the collaborators, we saw our good guy humans set up this wire. Mm-hmm. We thought they were setting it up low. Later we find they were setting it up high.
Yeah.
Boy, this plan really, really had some specifics. I'm going to get them up onto the roof by this point.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to lay down. Long story short, I liked it. But let's get back to the beginning, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The thing that here we are halfway through the final season, and we started with a new objective for... Hey, Strabon, it's me, Fat.
Gus, what are you doing in North Dakota? You should be in New York with Cream. What are you doing out here? What about your cousin?
I think so many things sound better with Cream. But... But believe it or not, that was my Fett. So that's hey, Charlotte, good plan. So we have Fett, Charlotte, and they get frisky. And this is one thing. I want to tip my beanie, my cold weather beanie to the strain. Okay. If they've been setting this up all season long. Fett and Charlotte have this flirtation, and they've shown our boy Strabone, a.k.a. Mr. Quinlan, checking them out and almost having a bit of fascination with them. That leads into a flashback. You know we're in the strain if they're doing a flashback.
Yep. This is my kind of flashback.
It is my kind of flashback, too.
Yeah.
I feel like, in complete honesty, we need to talk about, we were kind of lost as to what this flashback might have been for a bit. Mm-hmm. Mork, your thought, as soon as we saw London in, 1886, I love that you said, is this Jack the Ripper?
Right.
And talk about, hey, this is one of the fun things the strain can do. It can go in these crazy directions and give us Jack the Ripper. I assume that's not what it's going to imply, or who knows with the end. Maybe the Master does become Jack the Ripper.
Right.
But instead, it's giving us, Quinlan has always been checking out, hey, Doc, hey, Charlotte. She's been checking out Fett and Charlotte. And
I thought you meant like 100 years ago this was going on. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, sorry. I apologize for being long-winded. I'm saying Quinlan has seemingly been interested.
Short declarative sentences, Bubba.
Whip me into shape, buddy. I'm saying that Quinlan has always seemed intrigued by Charlotte and Fett. Now we see that even though we're going to assume Mr. Quinlan doesn't have any genitalia, he is still able to develop relationships.
Right.
And so I liked this section. I didn't like that it didn't end in this episode. It didn't feel like there was an ending, but I did like it. How about you?
Yeah, no, I definitely did enjoy it. I think our, the lovely actress, let's call her Poor Lady's Rachel McAdams, does a really nice job. One thing that I do have questions about, we always complain a little bit about these guys are so fast, and we're talking about Eichhorst or Strabone. They're so fast, they're so powerful. Mm-hmm. Why would he's obviously paying attention? Why would he even let this happen? He sees these
that's a good
two
call.
drunk sailors. Nothing good is going to happen. She gets stabbed. I'm
going to say it's his blood switch, and that's what does it. Is that when she gives blood, it's suddenly real in his senses because he's a hybrid Strigoi or half Strigoi, however you want to describe him.
Yeah,
that releases his okay. That's when I've got to move at super speed and take care of this.
Right.
And so, I'm not sure that's a great answer. That will be my, until the show explains it better.
Okay.
That'll be my in my own head universe explanation.
Fair enough.
For why this doesn't make too much sense.
We're trying to keep up, and he's very much drawn to this woman who, it turns out, has been searching
for him,
primarily in opium dens, which, it's kind of like the excuse, I'm just going to be looking for my long-lost dad.
Well, I might as well, I'm here, I might as well get a hit. I'm in the opium den.
Exactly.
Might as well. So her twin bros got syphilis.
Like, so basically that's why,
I'm pretty sure it means he has sex with a cow.
Right. But Strabone, he's not. that's tainted blood. Strabone realizes that, I guess.
Right, and he calls him the brother calls Strabone a Strix.
A Strix, yeah. We've heard a little bit of that earlier. It's familiar. I can't remember when we first heard it. But what I'm not sure about is, where did this guy learn so much, about the Strix?
Great question.
About the immortals?
Great question.
Is it tied to his, madness brought on by syphilis? Don't really know. But it raises a lot of questions. And one question I have is, when does Strabone move into their house? Because he seems to, he shows up.
Where do you want him to stay?
Well, he's got some cool clothes. He's got a nice top hat. So I assume he's got some pretty nice digs. It could be in a hostel somewhere, but I assume it's a pretty nice spot. He's not going to pay for a penthouse suite because he doesn't like, daylight. He'll take the basement, no problem.
No need for windows in this room. That's fine.
No need for windows.
That's fine.
It's totally fine. But yeah, he moves right in.
It comes with a complimentary breakfast. That's fine. Don't eat it. But come on, it's cheese. No, I'm good. Yeah. But we also have an apple or two. Listen, I'm good. You don't have to feed me. So I find that this woman is very attractive, and she wants to feel my touch, and kiss my lips. Why in the hell would any human want this? How does she become attracted to me?
Maybe
Strong,
her brother
Mr.
somehow
Quinlan.
like gave her syphilis. Like, not like maybe that she's mad too. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Not in like.
Have you ever had a girlfriend? Sorry to be so.
I have had a girlfriend.
Open and honest.
I've had a.
Ever had a girlfriend who wants to do a makeover on you? You know, she likes you as you are, but she also would like you with a wig and with different makeup on.
Yeah, I have, and just like when my girlfriend applies makeup and a wig to me, I often look a heck of a lot creepier than I do normally, which Quinlan does here. I mean, he pulls off the cool
goth vampire look better than he does in the I'm wearing 8 pounds of pancake makeup.
Right. And I feel bad. I assume that's what Strabone looks like in real life. I mean, not with the eye contacts, of course, and not without that silly wig. Are they repurposing F's wig?
Listen, we've held on to this wig for 4 seasons. Look, we got to get rid of it.
It's going to end up in the Smithsonian, guys, but let's just use it one last time.
Now, but before we finish up in Victorian England, how about we get to the present-day mission of we need a nuke. We're going to assume to kill the master. Quinlan's really got to stop saying, I've been hunting the master for 1,000 years.
I've been failing at this
oh my
task.
God.
Yeah.
Please, would you, at a certain point.
Yeah, just quit showing off because he doesn't look good. And he's a little wounded. I mean, this fight does go on a little bit longer.
Yeah, the present-day fight here on the truck.
Because, he got shot. He got shot last week, and he's still got a broken leg. So I'm assuming that's why he had so much trouble with this. They're called mongrels.
Yeah.
They've started talking about them a little bit, and maybe we'll link to it. There's a YouTube. FX put up a little YouTube thing explaining them, and it's pretty cool. We advise.
Who do you like better? Let's just go willy nilly. Do you like the feelers, the little kids, better, or the mongrels?
Oh, definitely the mongrels.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that? You say?
I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like I'm more afraid. I mean, I would say this: I'm more afraid of a feeler than I am of a mongrel. They're far creepier. They're they're sort of mid-shift. They're mid-transition. Mm-hmm. The mongrels are like fully formed, and so the feelers I find creepier. But I like watching the mongrels. I like how they move around. I like their sort of S&M outfits. So I like those guys. I prefer those guys. Yeah, feelers are just too creepy.
I'm the other way. I like the feelers. I like that they're so creepy. I like that they were once kids. I like the creepy spider-like movement they have.
We were all once kids, Bubba.
Well, they'll always be kids because they'll live forever. I love it, love it, love it.
Absolutely.
Do you want to? You don't have to mention me saving your life again. Okay, I won't. Yes. Do you like the repartee between?
Well, that repartee between those guys I enjoy, but there's sort of this. I don't want to call it a false conflict, but there is a conflict.
Yeah.
Charlotte,
no, call it. Yeah,
Charlotte lies to these guys and tells them, "Hey, there's silver, and you can have all the silver that's in the back of this truck." I feel like these guys are armed to the teeth. They've got a big old pickup truck with a gigantic machine gun in the back. I assume it's to protect themselves against the Strigoi. So they would be on board and they'd want to help out with this.
Right.
But she tricks him into it. And I don't know about you, Bubba, but it just made me think about all the other things she might be lying about. Did she really graduate with a degree in history from the University of El Paso?
I'm going to say something terrible. I thought you were going to get way more personal about Sexy Fett.
Mm-hmm. Did she fake it?
Right. I thought that's where you were going.
That actually, I mean, if you're a Sexy Fett, do you really care?
You don't have to ask.
You don't care if anyone's
If she's wearing the badge now, you're good.
She is definitely wearing the badge in this. I thought that was a little reckless of her to do it, but whatever. It gives us a little skirmish. We have a Strigoi in the back of the van,
and after 5 episodes, We've got it, right?
We've got a nuclear weapon pit. I assume we actually have more of them, but they're only taking one.
Right.
So that's the safe thing to do, is just leave a bunch of nuclear weapons in a truck on the side of the road. Well,
I bet this truck has tracking devices. Let's get out of here.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair. So then the Strigoi will find the rest of their nuclear devices.
Right.
They're short one. But their plan can continue. So
let's get back to this relationship with Louisa.
Yes.
Here in Victorian England.
Yes. It is definitely...
My brother's about to die, Mr. Quinlan. He was the closest closest person to me.
What about me? What about your daughter?
Have been repressed all these months that I've been taking care of him.
You really have.
I have not felt any man's lips on my lips or on my.
I don't know if I'm more
Victorian parts. My Victorian parts have not been touched.
Can we please go back to Eldritch Palmer and Zach hanging out, please? I would feel much more comfortable. Yeah, this is probably what she will file under the regrets section of her social calendar.
When I was in college, I experimented.
Women
with a Strigoi.
Women don't go to college and.
Come on, give her the vote.
All right, fair enough.
Give her the vote, suffragette.
Where was
Strigoi suffragette?
Was Quinlan helping women get the vote? I assume so.
Anybody who was against it, he just bullet time speed cracks them.
So she goes to work.
She goes to work,
and then
painting him up.
To work.
Did you like this? We are making light of it now.
No, I didn't like it because God bless. I mean, the moment is actually between them. His eyes are super creepy.
Creepy when they're still Strigoi and they still close sideways.
Yeah,
oh,
they're a bit creepy. But they have this moment that actually is when they're just not when they're staring at each other through the mirror, but when she's sitting next to him, and and she's right there, and she knows how he functions. She knows that she's sort of offering her neck to him. It's sort of a tease, but then she just holds him by the face, and it's
man.
You can feel there is like this moment between them, and then it's completely ruined by the two-headed
tongue worm that's coming out.
That just kind of comes out and kind of I mean, but that doesn't
kill the mood.
She doesn't run to the hills.
That is
for the hills.
Yes, sometimes
Bubba?
You've seen freaky stuff. When you're in Victorian England.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense a little bit.
This bodice of mine.
Look,
I'll do anything.
I'll do anything to get out of this thing. Can you just use those teeth in your tongue worm to undo this corset?
I haven't been able to breathe in this corset, Mr. Quinlan. Please just tongue worm it off.
Just kill me. So they have this moment, and unfortunately for these actors and the show, it is coming a few weeks after a similar scenario on Game of Thrones between Grey Worm and
Missandei.
And Bubba's girlfriend.
Spoiler alert for Game of Thrones. Exactly right. You're talking about where someone who, once again, we are assuming that Mr. Quinlan is like all Strigoi and doesn't have necessary to complete the transaction.
Yes, exactly.
And so
no ATM card.
But isn't this implying that he's going to take care of her? Right. Oh my God.
Well, it's definitely like it's going right into her lovely, she's got great gams.
Oh my gosh. And ladies, female listeners, we don't ask for much. Obviously, we're asking for iTunes reviews and you'll be eligible to win a great prize. But if you like bad boys, if you like guys with scars, if you like guys with long
wigs.
tongues, right,
and dark sunglasses,
explain to us how this went down. And I don't mean
yes.
Wait, hold on. Just how? Sorry. Explain to us how in the world.
What is her? what is she trying to get out of this?
You can get
because
lonely,
it seems
man.
Short-lived.
You can get lonely.
Well, sure. I mean, that is definitely true. Speaking of lonely,
the priesthood is
Sister
very
Agnes.
lonely. And so, but who gets shipped there? It is the master. And so earlier you had mentioned this is like Jack the Ripper. Because we didn't see too much Jack the Ripper type action.
Right.
To me, I suddenly thought, oh, what a fun little twist. Is the Strain doing their own version of Bram Stoker, excuse me. After that last scene, I was thinking Stoker. But Bram Stoker's Dracula. And it's Master 1.0.
Right. It's our legit guy before he's been burnt to a crisp, before he's fallen down buildings.
Before he became Bolivar, it's the good old master, man. This guy had a much longer reign as the master than our boy, and he even still had his nose somehow.
He had his nose. He had those Super Bowl rings, so he ships himself to London. We don't know why. I don't know if they're just trying to give us a sense of, in the timeline of the master very slowly making his way west to the States. But, it does bring up the question. In 1888, London really was, just like New York is today. I mean, London is obviously a major world city, but London was really the world city.
Yes, definitely by that point. Yeah, so the empire had not completely collapsed. So he wants to be where the action is, you would assume?
Yeah, I'm assuming, did he try something similar? I mean, with
Right, is this happening every 200 years or 150 years or so? That's a great call.
So I'm definitely curious about it. And maybe we'll see more, maybe not, because this is a flashback. But for those of our double L's, loyal listeners who missed Downton Abbey, this is this will sort of this will basically suffice.
Mr. Carson, could you please me with your
Johnny Carson? I don't watch the show.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so yes, Mr. Carson was an evil person on not evil. He was a bizarre character on Downton Abbey, which you referenced.
I did. Well,
this episode, though, I think we did have an enjoyable time with Mr. Quinlan. Yeah. But how did it get up to 8 from 10 from me? The thing we saved to the very end. Our boy Eichhorst.
Yep.
This is where the gold is. This is where this works. And so let's just follow it through. It kind of has a multi-tangential approach. We start on Dutch. Dutch had her freak out. She tried to escape last week. She's been captured, and currently she's being manhandled by the collaborators.
Yeah. Yeah, they just sort of get her on the stairwell. And so this was kind of cool, because she descends into this thing, and you're like, oh, what a deep, dark, dank basement.
Oh, no, yeah, she's headed to danger.
Chandeliers, there's a lovely table, and it's like, oh, is this Desai's love nest?
Right, Desai's girlfriend broke up with him after the trip to the restaurant last week.
Right.
And so instead, here she is. She's getting a beautiful meal in hell. Descend the stairwell to hell. And who is it? It's Eichhorst.
It's good old Eichhorst.
Even though I love this section with a deep, abiding love because of Eichhorst, there is a part of me that I said this out loud to you during the episode, Mork.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know where Setrakian is.
Right.
So he could just turn her, and then he would know everything she knew. The master, would know everything she knew.
Right.
But just like you said, the master likes to taunt Eph. When he gave free will to Eichhorst, it was like free will, to taunt.
Yeah.
And so he loves taunting. He's a taunter.
He is a taunter. I mean, there is a little bit of a little rationale with why he doesn't, is because her blood type is very rare, and babies with that blood type are so delicious or whatever. So maybe he doesn't want to get rid of her so she can still have a kid. But my question is,
I see that point, Mork. Sorry to cut you off there.
Sure.
But I see that point. But at the end, he's like, drainer, enough, drainer. Right. And so if we had followed the point you just made, Mork, I would have gone, brilliant. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. This is the delicious blood. Let's keep it pumping. He didn't.
Yeah, well, and she's not the only person who's got that blood type, obviously. So for Eichhorst, he can get rid of her as soon as he knows that. But my question is, he's dressed impeccably. Yep. His hair is perfect. His tie is, handmade by Zach's ex-girlfriend. He's such a gentleman. He's got a carafe of blood.
Delicious.
And then he pours it into this little glass. And then he shoves his giant tongue worm into it.
Yeah.
Why, if you got that tongue, why bother with the glass? Wouldn't you just put the tongue worm straight into the carafe? Like, why take that extra step? That's my question for you, Bubba. It just seems like that's just a little bit too much affectation.
All right, so you like cappuccino. Why do we put it in this little tiny cup?
So you don't drink too much of it.
Okay, so you just answered why he puts the blood in it. He doesn't want to get a blood rush. He's going to be driving later, and he doesn't have a designated driver.
Eichhorst is our designated demon.
I should point out, I'm so tough on so much of the logic of this train. Let's talk about what it does well. I was like saying, yeah, when Quinlan's fighting somebody on top of an 18-wheel truck, when his tongue worm shoots out at her from across the table.
Oh, and doesn't get into her.
Right, and gets so close, though.
That was cool.
That's a jump scare, and I go, ugh!
Yeah.
Because that's what the show does well. That's what the show seemingly wants to do well.
Right.
Except it doesn't want to do it too often, apparently.
Doesn't want to do it too often. But no, that was a very cool move. And, and it feels like for the guys like Eichhorst, I mean, the Master doesn't really count anymore, but for sort of, I mean, Eichhorst really is our we don't have too much middle management anymore.
No. Great point. Well, Desai is...
Yeah, but he doesn't, as far as we know, he doesn't have the same accoutrement.
No.
So it's just, the Strigoi who do have free will, and maybe it's only Eichhorst who has free will, but it feels like he would really play with his food, and we see a little bit of it, but man, how many creepy things could they cook up in doing that? So anyway, they are.
So she gives up the ghost. She's like, "You're torturing me to find out where Setrakian is. You know where he is. He got taken." Right. So she gives up the ghost pretty well. Mm-hmm. Eichhorst confirms this through Desai. Wait, did we pull in an old man? This leads to just some brilliance. Eichhorst finally, and Eichhorst gets so much of my love because he's such an effective character, design, actor, portrayal, frights. But the other big gun on this show is, of course, Setrakian. What drugs do you have me on? Where am I? I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And these two together
they're great.
It's gold for us, blood for Strigoi. It's the thing you want.
It is the thing we want. And one question that, while watching this, we have seen some curious things, we'll call it, about Setrakian's makeup, his biology, that perhaps would, this doctor or someone else would have noticed. Maybe he's not exactly what he seems.
Right.
And so, but that doesn't, they're still doing a blood marrow experiment with him. So, okay. That apparently no one notices some of the things that we've seen in terms of, Setrakian and some of the white and
that he's been taking to keep himself living longer and still see and all these things.
Right.
But the next jump scare that is so effective that the show can do, and the show has earned, is they're bringing poor Setrakian back to this world. They're getting him out of his stupor, out of his coma, whatever state he was in. Mm-hmm. And he feels this thing moving underneath his sheet. It is a big frigging snake. That is just friggin' great. It is scary. It is creepy. It is all the things the strain can do so well, and it's doing it well now. For people who Like horror, this is it. This is fear. This is scariness. That tension you feel in yourself when you have a scare. And then even if it's just a jump scare and the release, there's a reason why people like scary things.
Yeah.
And this is it.
Yeah,
love it.
There's an almost infinite amount of ways for them to scare us, and sometimes, they don't do it. They don't do it enough for me.
Okay, all right.
They really don't. But these guys,
these two, Eichhorst,
they're really good together, and we know their history. We know how long they've been, chasing each other and hiding from each other. One thing I don't know is
I want to hear this.
What the heck happened to his silver sword? Now, obviously, he was captured.
I've lost that, too, in the capture. So I've lost that, too.
So did he, was it hidden along with the, somewhere along with the oxidolumen? Obviously, didn't, Dutch didn't do that. But it does seem like the master would have told everyone, hey, be on the lookout for an old guy with a tattoo with these numbers on his arm and this crazy silver sword that looks like
Great point.
It seems like that'd be part of the APB. But it wasn't. So
well,
unless it's in the closet next to his bed or something.
This is me misremembering from past seasons. Why, of the multiple reasons that Eichhorst should want to kill Setrakian.
Yeah.
For the multiple reasons, maybe Eichhorst would want to turn Setrakian and find out about the oxidolumen. Why did it suddenly become, tell me your God doesn't exist? Why is this the ultimate taunt? Why does he need this? Why does Eichhorst hold off to this one piece of breaking Setrakian?
I don't know, and it's not like we've seen Setrakian as a particularly religious man. It's not like he's going up to a priest and saying, help me move on Easter or something. He's like, this guy is, and I don't really get the sense that, whatever Setrakian believes that, the Strigoi and Eichhorst and the Master can be beaten, but not necessarily because of any, one religion or one, religious belief.
Great point.
So I don't know either. I really don't know either.
Let's jump away from these two grizzled acting veterans, show veterans. Get back to Dutch. Dutch has been turned over, about to be drained. These poor people who have been through so much pain, they don't realize that this is the end. They're being sold a bill of goods by these collaborators, these humans who've collaborated to survive. Really just as bad as Strigoi. When Dutch creates an uprising.
She does.
And if I didn't feel like this was the most successful uprising I've ever seen, I'm glad. Every single human being, it's easy for me to say, should be fighting Strigoi. We talked about it last week with, hey, bruh, and cream.
Wait, Sexy Fett is hanging out with...
No, all right. So anyway, the fact that humans were fighting humans in that storyline from last week was frustrating. Here, this is it. They should all be fighting.
Right.
Why don't these security guards have any guns? Let's ignore that. Oh, maybe because guns could be used to kill Strigoi. The Strigoi don't want humans having the guns. Let's use that as an excuse. Dutch wants everybody free, everybody out, but she has to save Setrakian.
Yeah.
Back at Setrakian, Eichhorst hears the alarm going off. This is a great character moment for him. He's got super speed. He can go find out what's going on, and then realize, it's Dutch. What's the one thing we know Dutch would not do? Dutch would not just run for the hills if she knows Setrakian's here.
Yeah. No, she's got a sense of where he is, so she's going to go try to find him, and she cracks open some sort of supply closet. We don't know exactly what she's going to do, but she gets down there. She actually avoids the one bed that's curtain isn't pulled,
right?
Where Setrakian is, and then stumbles upon it when she's right in front of it. So but whatever. She's a little frazzled. She's just had a fight, so she's probably.
And Setrakian's not Setrakian. He's lost. He's dithering. Is there any chance? And this is going to sound terrible. is there any chance that Setrakian
and Dutch get it on?
No,
Bubba.
no. It has been turned.
Oh, well.
Oh, look at our little plan here. This went so quick I missed it for a bit.
This is great.
Is that she with the taser she electrifies the, I assume, straight alcohol that she grabbed. Then Eichhorst, our favorite character, rough life.
Right.
There goes his brand new suit. He's roasted alive.
Yeah, Dracarys to Eichhorst. He's on the ground, roasting alive. And, the amount of punishment. I mean, I think one of the reasons why he's such a, not just a fun, but a satisfying villain is because he takes his lumps.
He does.
He really does.
And
take
he keeps
his lumps.
ticking.
And he gets up, and you get why Eichhorst, really relishes some of the stuff because he's had to work hard for it. He's had to put up with so much crap from the master. He's gotten passed over, half a dozen times. He's had to listen to all those bad Bolivar records. He's had to show Zach 2.0 how to drive and how to unhook a bra. These things are, completely and totally beneath him, and yet he does it. He's
the man.
He earns it.
Hell yeah.
So it's he's great. And yeah, I don't know how he would survive being completely on fire like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come out and they spray him right away with the fire extinguisher, so that's great. But I thought it was a cool weapon that Dutch put together.
Yes, without question.
And and she got, and they get the heck out of Dodge.
And that's going to get us the heck out of Dodge. Mork, we've spent 5 episodes getting to this point. We have the nuke.
Yes.
We know where the master is. He's in New York City with Zach 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
They can do this, right? These heroes who have made so many bad steps, they can do this. It feels like Eph is going to be on a tangent trying to save these people who are actually the animals on a farm. But the rest of the team can come together, right? This is what we wanted. Last week, I said, how can The Strain be a great show? I think you gave the best answer ever. You said, get the gang back together. Get the team back together.
Yeah.
And so, we got to hope. We got to hope that they can do it. Because for me, yes, there were parts of all stories that had some problems. But you get me a Strigoi battle on the top of a truck. Right. You get me Eichhorst.
On fire?
On fire. Plus, being scary. Plus, talking trash. This is The Strain at its best for me. 5 more episodes, and then we're done with the series entirely. Yeah. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I hope they go out with a bang. I hope that our gang is back together as soon as it's believable. And I want more. I want more gunfights. I want more infrared. I want more silver bombs.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do.
For everybody here on Got Your Milk. My name's Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at FitandTrim. That's FITTENTRIM. At FitandTrim on Twitter.
And Mork is at Extraordinary. That's extraordinary with a W in front of the final R. And, of course, you can join us on Facebook, /Double P Podcasts. That's the word double, the letter P, and podcasts plural.
So, give us those iTunes reviews if you would like to be entered into a great contest to win this great prize. And we'll see you next week on Got Your Milk!